What's more difficult than trying to sell salted herring with relish ice cream in December? Well, trying to sell Gavin Newsom as a stud. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott. And guys, you will not believe some of the things I've seen on my Facebook feed not too long ago. You're probably aware by now that $800 man-child, 98-pound weakling who gets sand kicked in his face and then has people arrested for it, Gavin Newsom, governor of California, is trying to position himself for the presidential run in 2028. And nothing is more illustrative of Gavin Newsom's character than his recent effort to try to be Donald Trump. Absolutely blows my mind. You've probably seen the tweets that he does that are in all caps, and he's using Trump's language, and he's acting tough, and he's getting tough. I've seen these all these memes everywhere where a muscular Gavin Newsom in a red, white, and blue Speedo is, it's just plain absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the one I saw yesterday that got me wanting to do this was a picture of Gavin Newsom leaning forward, and it said, "It's not me they're after. It's you. I'm just standing in their way." And I thought,
they did not.
Holy cow. Oh yes, they did. Oh yes, they did.
Oh my goodness.
I thought, where have I heard this before?
Yeah.
Steve, Donald Trump's bombast is his, I don't want to say it's his greatest strength. I think it's certainly his greatest weakness. And I find it so fascinating that a guy who has none of the positives that Donald Trump has, none of the business savvy, he's got none of the strength, the core leadership skills, the belief in America, none of the economic wisdom that Donald Trump has. I find it so brilliant and insightful that Gavin Newsom would choose the bombast as the ticket to get to the White House in 2028, when everybody knows he's a pencil neck geek.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to have two images that sort of not only made the news, but tell you who each one of these guys actually is, you see that photo through the window during the lockdowns of Gavin Newsom and his, I think they were pharmaceutical and doctor buddies
medical
at
experts.
The French Laundry in Napa, having the
3
time
or
of
4
their
days
lives,
after he locked down the state of California.
locked away in total safety from the people who they locked down in their own homes. They're rubbing shoulders and elbows. Nobody has any masks on. They're enjoying, $800 a plate meals at the French Laundry, which is on my bucket list, by the way. And then you go to Donald Trump, who had, I can't remember, I think it was a college football team over to the White House during his first administration, and he bought them all lunch from McDonald's, and he had that McDonald's spread on that giant table on some room in the White House, and he's just beaming in front of all these Big Macs and French fries. And by the way, McDonald's is not on my bucket list because I go get a double quarter pounder with cheese and a bunch of French fries whenever the hell I like.
That's right.
Anyway, all that aside, the worst part of this, and Newsom even admits this, he doesn't even write these tweets. He's got a couple of like late 20, early 30s
pink-haired
millennial, Gen Z, whatevers, who are his team. And it's a guy and a gal, pronouns and bios, who look exactly like you are imagining them right now to look, who actually write these things for them. And they always say, we write these in close consultation with the governor. Oh, the hell you do. The hell you do. This guy, Newsom doesn't care about anything but Gavin Newsom. He's the guy who ordered the skate parks filled with sand from bulldozers during the lockdowns because we can't have kids outdoors getting their vitamin D during a damn flu pandemic. Good God. Bill, just make me stop right now because I could go on and on and on about this disingenuous, lying, self-serving, power and money-grubbing dirtbag.
Wait till you see the images. I'll put a couple up there of him with these big brawny muscles and all that. It's fully hilarious. Scott, the Democrats have always been the party of the working man and the little guy and so on. And if they ever hope to win a presidential election again, they're going to have to get the working man back. you think Gavin Newsom's plan of maybe getting together like in a park or something around a picnic table with a bunch of like electricians and metal workers and just sitting down together and having a nice $400 cup of Chardonnay together? Do you think that's the plan for success for the Democrats to make it back to the Oval Office?
Yes, I do. And I think he should pursue that with his whole heart and his entire campaign budget. I think as a big fan of the governor, I would encourage him to go at that hard. That's a great idea. You know, Bill, when you first said there's an effort underway to sell Gavin Newsom as a stud, I grew up working on farms, and I just had this whole different picture of that, and I'm thinking, what's the fee?
I need brain bleach.
How is this business going? But that, maybe later in the campaign when they're desperate for funding. Here's the thing. You've got to be yourself in order to sell yourself to the American public. And if there's no there, you're in big trouble.
Right out of my mouth.
And you can't be... Nobody can out-Trump Trump. And in fact, I would say of all the people that you can't outdo at being them, Donald Trump is first. There is probably no worse choice that Newsom could make of somebody that he tries to emulate and usurp his personality than Donald Trump. I mean, he has carved out a niche for himself in the American psyche for decades, and he owns it. And you can't have it. And you can't convince people that you're like a nicer version of Donald Trump or a smarter version of Donald Trump or whatever.
Or a meaner version.
Or
which
even
is kind
a
of
meaner version, even a worse version of Donald Trump. Yeah, you can't do that. But then again, I would like to delete all that I just said for the last minute and go back to my first comment, which was, yes, this sounds like a good idea for the governor of California to pursue.
I couldn't agree more. Yes, keep it up, Gavin. You're on the right track. You took the words right out of my mouth. This is the same problem with Gavin Newsom that you have with his close associate Kamala Harris, and that is there's no there. You live in a world. We've always lived in a world where political authenticity was the ticket. John Kennedy made self-deprecating remarks that made him seem more real than Richard Nixon's kind of nervous performance on that first televised debate. Goes without saying that Nixon, the people who listened to that debate on radio thought Nixon won by considerable margin. People who watched it on TV thought that Kennedy came across better because Kennedy was a personable guy. There's nothing to like about Gavin Newsom. Put aside the fact that I've lived in California and watched all the destruction, and all of that will obviously come out in the 2028 campaign. The thing I don't want to see, respected is not the word. I had assessed his potential as an opponent for many years until the Pacific Palisades fires happened. And then I saw that when confronted with an actual crisis, he just goes into vapor lock. There is simply nothing there. He knows how to strike that pose. He's very erudite, good-looking guy, and all that other stuff. And when I saw him fumbling and constantly fumbling again and again and again, I realized this guy cannot handle a debate against somebody like J.D. Vance or forget Donald Trump. He doesn't have the character. He's a mannequin, really, is what he is. And to be as tone deaf as to think that you can, as Scott said, you think that you can out Donald Trump is just plain madness and an indication of relatively low intelligence. I'll give him the advice because he's not capable of changing. I'm not worried about the Democrats wising up. He just doesn't have it. Gavin, if you're really seriously thinking about running for president, you ought to be maintaining the image that you tried to foster prior to this. You should be trying to be a suave, sophisticated, self-deprecating, intelligent man of measured emotions. You're supposed to be the antidote to the wild and crazy cowboy politics of conservatives. You've got all of the smarts and none of the defects, and because you have no personality or character to sell, you immediately went with sell all of the defects and you got none of the smarts. So Keep it up, Democrats. I'm looking forward to the almost at a bloodbath, but I kind of think if you stick him in the side, you're just going to get distilled water. I mean, there's just nothing there. For Steve Green and Scott, I'm not suggesting anybody go stick him in the side. I'm speaking metaphorically for those of you out there who might be monitoring this for hateful crime thing. No. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott. We'll see you next time right here on Right Angle.